Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to Paul Fulton RC. Today we've got something a little bit special. Got me first DTM car, which is the Tamiya Opel Calibra V6. So let's have a look in the box. Right guys, so we're going to jump straight into step one, which is creating the rear ball diff. Quite a fiddly part. Make sure you get these washers the right way round. No direction. The balls only go in one way because the holes are smaller on one side than they are the other, so get that ball diff done. And there you have it guys, step one done, ball diff. You don't get much grease, but you get little spare ollies, little spare balls, so if you drop a couple you'll be alright. So that's step one done. Now we're moving on to step two, which is put it in the gearbox. So step two finished, diff in the gearbox, replace the bushings with ball bearings obviously, and I've got for step three, for this motor mount B2, I've got an aluminium one. I ordered this aluminium one for my top force, so luckily they're the same, so I've ordered another one for the top force and I'm going to use this in the TA02. So now what we're going to do is get the motor in. So motor pinion on. When you're putting it on, don't forget to use this little spacer and use the same holes that's on this diagram, because the metal aluminium one doesn't have any markings, but that's good. Step four is get it in the gearbox, so I'll get that in next. There's the gearbox done, motor in. Put thread lock on the two bolts going into the alley plate, should be good. Now we're moving on to step five, which is assembling the spare gear. Step five is done, idle gear, spare gear, all done. Next we're moving on to step six, which is attaching it all to the gearbox, so I'll get that all in there now. Here we go guys, step six done, rear gearbox all nicely put together, all nicely greased up. Next we're moving on to step seven, which is attaching the rear damper stays and all that good stuff. Do that next. And there we go, step seven is done. Now we move on to step eight, which is creating the rear arms. And there we go boys, step 8 and 9 is done. Rear suspension put on the car, onto the rear gearbox. Now we're moving on to step 10, which is creating the front differential. So step 10 is the front diff done. Now we're going on to step 11, which is put it in the gearbox. And there we go guys, step 11 done. Diff's in, greased up. Now we're moving on to step 12, which is create the rest of the gearbox, the counter gear. So we'll get that in. So there we go guys, step 12 is done. Front gearbox finished. Now we're moving on to step 13, which is applying the damper stays. So do that next. And voila, step 13 finished. Now we're moving on to step 14, which is creating the front axles. Step 14 is done, front axles. Now we're moving on to step 15, which is building it all up and getting it on the front gearbox. Step 15 is finished, all of steering assembly on. Now we're moving on to step 16, which is creating the shocks. So I'll do that off camera because we all know how to do our shocks. Yep, come back and that'll be all done. So that's 16 all the way through to 19 done. Now we're moving on to part D, which is center the servo and start putting the electronics in. Yep, so get on to that. Right boys, so step 21 and 22 done. Now we're moving on to step 23, which is creating the steering linkage. So do that next. So step 23, steering linkage done. Now we're moving on to step 24, which is attaching it to the car. So step 24 is complete. Now we're moving on to step 25 and 26, which is attach the front and rear gearbox. And there you go, guys. I'm over. Jesus, man, I'm over the moon. I love building these kits. Wow. Yeah, made up with that, lads. Front suspension seems a bit. I'm not sure if it's a bit soft, but yeah, happy with that. Easy to go together, as you can tell by the video. Video is quite, you know, short and to the point. Just flew together, made up with it. Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be a looker. So let's have a look what it sounds like. Make sure we've got no grinding. Yeah. That rasping noise is the drive shaft wobbling. Yeah, made up with that, boys. Now we'll move on to the part that I'm not looking forward to, the body. But I've seen RC Kicks done the rear diffuser differently. He done it a different way, and I'm going to have a go at doing that. So when we get back, the body will be painted. So we'll see you in a bit. And there you go, guys. Doesn't that look absolutely smart? Yeah. Wow. It's a gorgeous looking kit. So what I've done with the back diffuser is the film that covers the body. You cut that to the shape of the diffuser and then you spray it black. You've also, you know, you've got to put masking tape across your wheel arches so you don't get overspray, and then do that. So painted it core RC white, tinted the windows. That looks absolutely smart, that. These Tamiya kits, man, so, just something about them. Wow, the fact that you build them yourself. Yeah, happy with that. Let's get the stickers done. And there we go, guys. After absolutely hours putting stickers on, that is a set of stickers I do never want to do again. It is finished and I'm made up with it. I like this style of car. I want to get more. There's a few on the TA02 that I've been looking at. Definitely want to get a Subaru on the TA02. Can always transfer it over to this body. Kit was amazing to put together, a breeze, really easy. I wasn't sure what to expect. Real easy, yeah. So there you go, boys. It's finished. If you've made it this far, thanks for tuning in. Please drop us a like and a comment and subscribe and all that good stuff. And thanks for my regulars. Continuously coming back. See you in the next one.